Joining me is Stephanie Young. She's the executive director of When We All Vote and pulling together this fabulous weekend. And Bishop William Barber. He's the co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign and author of We Are Called to Be a Movement. Bishop Barber is a movement all by himself. Bishop Barber, I do want to start with you because poor Americans have a much lower voting rates in national elections than non-poor. This is all according to research. And you point out that this group is often constrained from casting ballots by transportation issues, illness, or other problems that are out of their control. So how can they have a voice this election cycle?
Well, thank you, Tim. You know, and the problem is resistance to talking to poor and low-income people. The biggest issue to moving poor and low-income people is most politicians don't even talk to them. They don't bother with them. And that's a mistake because poor and low-income brothers and sisters, 140 million in this country, and they represent now 32% of the electorate and 45% of the electorate in battleground states. And in 15 states we have researched, if poor and low-wealth people just voted 1 to 25% higher than they did in the last election, they could determine every election's outcome and close the margin of victory. The question is, why aren't politicians going directly to them? Why aren't they talking to them? That's one of the things we have found. Even political consultants basically say many times, even the Democratic candidate, you don't worry about the poor, don't worry about the poor. Focus on the middle class, focus on working. That's a problem. And if we would actually campaign and go in Appalachia and go in the Delta, California, for instance, has 21 million poor and low wealth people, 6.4 million workers who make less than $15 an hour. If you target that group and go after them, you can move them.
Right, absolutely. And so, Stephanie, Reverend Barber has a good point. I find it interesting. On this very day in 1963, June 11, 1963, President Kennedy came out and he gave a speech asking Congress to enact legislation protecting all Americans' voting rights. Here we are all these years later, and these young people feel like Obama was the floor, not their ceiling. So they're saying, what else you got? What are you going to do for me? How will the Culture of Democracy Summit address things like this, and how is Forever Flotus, Michelle Obama, addressing things like this?
Yeah, well, the Culture of Democracy Summit is the first of its kind. We are doing exactly what Bishop Barber just said. He participated yesterday in our virtual day. We're trying to reach people where they are, everyone, right? And we're trying to talk to them in ways in which they actually can understand and about the issues they care about the most. We want people to feel empowered, and we want all of different sectors and industries to come together so we all can talk about what is our collective and individual role in strengthening and protecting our democracy from whatever perch we sit at, because we all reach, different groups of people. And when it comes to young people, as you just mentioned, who have, different ideas of what this country should look like, we're trying to empower them. Over 50% of them actually voted in 2020. So we do know that young people are paying attention, they're ready to take action, and they're really ready to lead this country. So we're just trying to create a pathway for folks to become more involved and understand how important it is to be civically engaged. And Mrs. Obama is going to give a keynote address on Monday night after a full day of programming, talking about a host of issues, and you'll be there too.
I will be there. I'm looking forward to it. When you talk about young people, though, I am curious, what are some of the issues that young people care about, and what's the biggest challenge to meeting these young people, to making them realize? Because the folks who are watching this show right now, they're already politically engaged. We talked about 20 million people watching the hearings. Well, over 100 million watch the Super Bowl. These are still small fractions. So how can we penetrate that layer of nothing matters?
Totally. Look, it's through culture. That's why we are working to change the culture around voting so that we can increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and the age voting gap. So how are we reaching them? Again, where they are, through the messengers that they respond to, through the content that they consume. And, as a nonpartisan organization, we're not able to attach issues all the time to voting. But what we do have to do is show how voting actually impacts your lives. And I say this all the time. Voter suppression manifests in the mental through the thought that my vote doesn't matter, and through the physical through the laws and barriers that people are putting up to stop folks from being able to cast their ballot. So we're trying to work through that mental barrier, right? And so we had an excellent Gen Z panel. I encourage folks to go back and watch with some of our Gen Z leaders and young people, and they talk exactly about what they care about, which is really, doing this work much differently and really changing the way in which we look at this country, and also making it the most important thing I heard yesterday was making this country more inclusive of everybody. So we have another opportunity to hear them on Monday as well. A great group of young people.
Even the way we talk about voters, you know, when you see so oftentimes on cable news, they go to like Heart of America voters and, you know, real middle America voters. And it's always these diners where there are no black people, no brown people, you know, everybody's at this Waffle House version, you know, and when you hear that, it's like, how are you not speaking to me? And that doesn't inspire. We don't do that on this show, though.